Hello again everyone, Melth here, with a special little side guide video about Baldur's Gate 3 and some tricks that I found to get not one, but two copies of Duke Ravengard's Longsword, an extremely powerful and often overlooked item. Besides a few fun minor perks, like giving temporary hit points to your whole army of summons potentially, what's really good about it, of course, is just that it gives you a +2 charisma bonus, which, unlike most stat bonuses in this game, has no cap to it. You can use that, along with other tricks that I found, and will probably make another guide video about, to break what people think is usually the stat cap in this game and get some really high charisma for builds that care a lot about that, such as the ever popular Sorlocks and many kinds of Hex Blades and things like that. Pretty good stuff. So with two copies of this great weapon, you can either have two different charisma builds in your party both benefit from it, or have one person dual wield it for truly massive charisma bonuses. Either way is pretty good. Now, one of the best things about this item is that you can acquire the first copy of it super early and super easily in Act 3. Much earlier and more easily than some items like Rhapsody or Marco Hesker, which are kind of other competitive good stat sticks for people using Eldritch Blast and things like that. Those are gated behind some of the game's toughest fights pretty deep in Act 3, but here you don't even have to do any fights. You can just talk your way past one group of guards and walk into Gortash's Coronation, and that's about all there is to do to acquire the first one. Now, if you want to avoid a fight here, I recommend don't bother bringing most of your party. You can stash most of them over here at the gate toward Baldur's Gate. Also, you might as well talk to Mizora while we're here. You need to have her be alive to be getting both copies of the sword. Now, if you're trying to avoid a fight, I recommend drink an invisibility potion and open one of these doors and just stash any summons you have out there, so they're out of the way. I can just ungroup from them here, leave them there, and I'll open another door or two for later as well while I'm at it. That will be not necessary, but it is helpful. Now, you can have a lot of fun instead of going along with the Coronation, just battling all the Watchers and things like that in here. That's pretty epic, it's pretty challenging. I recommend trying it at least once, but it does lock you out of a lot of the game's content, like the Iron Throne and stuff like that. And you can't get both copies of Ravengard's Longsword if you go through with that fight. So I wouldn't recommend it if trying to do this. Just go ahead and do things the easy way and cooperate.
Stand down. Aggressive action will not be this.
I knew I'd meet Kethric's Slayer. You neck was ready.
I can't say it comes as a surprise. I initiate.
In short, you can trust me. Who? The faceless in your camp is like a knife at your throat. Before you do, come and witness. Then we proceed.
Alright, so the mind-controlled Ravengard goes ahead and proclaims Gortash to be the Archduke.
Gathered guests, grant ye consent, invoke.
And you?
Alright. Then all we need is someone who can make him drop his weapon. Now, the easiest way to do that is with Command, just because that's a level 1 spell that you can slot into pretty much anyone's build at this point. But you can also do things like have a Battlemaster Fighter with Disarming Strike, or a Beastmaster Ranger with a bear that has Honeyed Paws. You've got plenty of options. Now again, to avoid a fight, optionally, have someone who has high strength. You know, drink a Hill Giant Potion or whatever, 20 or higher will work, and you can just grab Ravengard and drag him out of the way to where there aren't any witnesses. This is not counted as aggressive unless you throw him onto the ground, which you can cancel by just right-clicking before you get there. So I'll just keep hauling him along till we get away from all these witnesses, and we can that way avoid any kind of fight. Alright. He tries to run back when he gets around this point, so I'm going to go into turn-based mode, pull him one more time, and then we'll go ahead and do our command. There we go. We pick it up. And now we just need to get out of here without fighting people. If a fight does break out, that's fine. Kill your way out of here. Just don't kill Gortash and don't kill Ravengard. That's all that really matters. If you want to make a quick getaway, you can just drink a potion of flying and invisibility or whatever, or cast those spells. Again, it doesn't really matter. There are many ways to handle this.
I can do
and we can talk to Mizora, and that's the important next step here.
What did I tell you? A momentous occasion.
So, she'll talk about how Ravengard has now immediately somehow or other been kidnapped and sent to the Iron Throne. Very efficient.
Gortash has had Will's father.
So now she'll want to meet us in camp to try to force Will to renew his contract with her or sacrifice Ravengard's life, things like that. So, at this point we can just go to camp, and then if you rest, she'll meet you there. It doesn't really matter if we agree to break the contract or not. If you choose the option to break the contract and have Ravengard supposedly die, you can still do this, you just need to be a little bit careful at one step. Then we can just go to bed, and the next step we can do once we get into Baldur's Gate proper. Alright, so here we are at the Basilisk Gate entrance. We can just walk west and southwest until we get to the waterfront. That's where we want to be. Because we picked the option to say that Ravengard can die, we'll probably be accosted by some flaming fist people that we just need to talk our way or fight our way past. It's not really a big deal though. Here they are. We'll tell them Mizora lied to them because Mizora lies to everyone, and they should probably know that by now, really. Moving back to what we're actually trying to do here. Walk on past Sorcerer Sundries, that's usually the best path to get to this part of the waterfront, and we'll be able to see it as a warehouse building once we get a bit closer. Alright, so it's this warehouse building here, down near where the ships are, and across from the Steel Watch Foundry and across from the Water Queen's house. There are many entrances. I think one of the easier ones is just to go around over to this side. These people here don't really care if you pick the lock right next to them for whatever reason.
It's not called Grey Harbor for nothing.
Anyway, inside are a few wargs, but wargs are nothing at this point in the game.
Let's turn someone.
One mildly notable thing is that wargs, of course, have warg fangs, which you can use to make bloodlust elixirs. If you're out of those at this point, you now have a source, which is good because they're useful for the Iron Throne. So go ahead and make some if you don't have them already. Then we'll just hit this hidden trapdoor over here and go on down to where the Iron Throne is. There's no opposition here. We can just walk our way into where the dock is, where they keep the submarine, and talk to the dwarf Redhammer there. So here is the dwarf Redhammer with his submarine. We can either fight him or persuade him to help us. Either way is just fine.
You spot a curious metal contraption in the water. A submersible.
Alright, so we get onto the submarine, we defy Gortash, and we get ready to rescue Ravengard from the Iron Throne. I've heard people say they have a lot of trouble with the Iron Throne, so I'll probably make a little guide video about how to optimize that. For now, we'll keep things simple, we'll just focus on rescuing Ravengard and nothing else. So, that cutscene will have acted as though there's great urgency to save people and so forth. But actually, we have all the time in the world here. Take your time, buff as much as you want. Only when you go through that hatch does the time limit actually begin. So, get Longstrider on, make sure that people have their speed equipment on, things like that.
Halt.
A cold.
Ormella will talk to us if he's alive. Doesn't have too much that's useful to say.
Duke Ravengard is held. Act with.
Okay, so now there's a time limit, but it's not really going to be a difficult one. So Ravengard is on the eastern side. Now, we could rescue everyone, but we're going to just focus on Ravengard for this video. One of the simplest things that any party should do here, basically, is just splash a speed potion onto several people, and thereby give them extra actions and movement speed. You can also apply fly to your party pretty easily.
Beholds the dance of death.
So down below we'll find a couple of Sahagin, but Sahagin should die in a couple of hits at most to any good attacker at this point in the game, so not too much to worry about there. Honestly, you don't even need to kill the Sahagin, but you probably should. It'll make it easier to get Ravengard out of here and control the initiative order. Killed the Sahagin pretty easily. Over here in the east, this is where Ravengard's cell is. It doesn't even take an action to free him, just hit the lever and he's out. And you even get control of him. Mizora will really be smug and showboat here as if she can threaten him, but there are so many ways to save him. So for one thing, we've got control of him now. We could just say, hey dude, here's a healing potion. Okay, at this point he can just face tank the spiders that she's about to summon. Let's walk him out of there and we'll see what she can do.
Well, look who it is. A bog.
Alright, so he's forced to kneel down there and summon spiders to kill him. But the spiders are so weak that they wouldn't have been much of a threat in Act 1. 6 of these little guys, when they die or when they suicide bomb, will do 3d6 damage. So an average of 10, save for half, fire type. There are so many ways to save him from that. You could, for example, literally just use the help action and he can just walk out on his own. Or you can give him a healing potion. Or you can just throw a water ball at him so he's wet. Or you can just kill the spiders, because their AoE is so small that even right next to him, they won't even blow up on him mostly. See, he took damage from a couple of them, it didn't even hurt. Anyway, alright, just dash on out of there, I guess, dude. We could throw him a speed potion and have him dash even further and faster too. You could make him invincible, you can throw healing potions at him, People talk as though it's difficult. It's just not, is my point there. There are so many things you can do to save him. Heck, even if you do literally nothing, he sometimes survives because their attacks are just so weak. If he makes his saving throws, he can just be fine. Alright, well, we could save everyone, but we're not gonna. We're gonna just get out of here and keep things short and sweet. Alright, so we're all aboard. We could save everyone, but we're not going to. We'll just hit that wheel and get out of here. I think the point is made that it's not really hard to save Ravengard from the Iron Throne, even with Mizora working against you. And if you chose the option where she'll help you, it's basically unlosable.
The Duke Ravengard approaches you, looking.
Alright. You'll notice, by the way, he still has his prison clothes. He doesn't have his sword at this point, which is why we can't do anything to get it from him just yet. But he'll have it again soon. So we talk with him, he'll say he'll meet us in our camp. So here we are in camp, and Ravengard will usually be off in that corner. And now you can see he has his armor and he has his sword back, ready for us to steal it again. Now there are a couple things to watch out for here. One of them is, sometimes it won't let you command drop him. It'll say that he's an ally or whatever. Doesn't always happen, but if it does happen, you can fix that by just going into disguise self mode and then you're good to go. Let's test if that'll happen with Karlach this time just to demonstrate. Yeah, can't be an ally, that's fine. If you get that, then just go into disguise self. There we go, as you can see. So the next and final hurdle is that having it drop his weapon counts as a hostile action. If you do that, people in camp will sometimes aggro. Who does varies a lot, even for the exact same party. Might be kind of a race condition in the game's programming. I'm not sure about that. There are many ways you can deal with it. You can do things like put yourself in darkness and have the Everset ring so you can cast out of it at him. Or just use the spell that's meant for getting away with nonsense like this and use greater invisibility, which you should probably have scrolls of and definitely have access to here in Act 3 at this point.
Invisibility.
So he drops it. We go on over and pick it up. And then we're going to exit turn-based mode and we're going to exit camp. Alright, so with that, we've got 2 copies of Duke Ravengard's Longsword. No downsides, no consequences. As long as you give him time to forget that you just stole from him, he won't mind when you talk to him again in camp. and you can just move on with Will's questline however you want, as you usually would. So, from here on out, the Charisma Build world is your Charisma Build oyster. Have fun. Thank you for watching, everyone, and a special thank you to my Patreon supporters, the Irreverent Reverend, Master Knight DH, Jackie, Enlino, Travis, Andrew Curzon, Troobsy, Oliver, Croniche, Jago, DK in DK, Gregory, Broken Box, Jenna M, Just Becca, Jack, Marcus the Carcass, Nubiana, Discord Colossus, Nicholas Schmuck, Kostya Nesterovich, Frederick Broom, Robin, Stefan Van Zyl, Eddie, Mina, Ali Kasamoglu, Skylar Sauce, Nick Myers, Emp Ninjas, Previn A, Chupatan, Diabetic Cat, Marvin Fay, Max, Afro Zamurai, Step Back Too Deadly, Lodestone, Big Mars, Brad, IJ23, Rodrigo Lopez Dato, Kevin Ditchide, Silent, Eldridge, Jake Watson, and a name that starts with sword emojis. Have a great day, everyone.